Hello. Hello, Angela Montoya, author of Sinners. Ha, 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 ha.
You sound like was it the Bee Gees? Is it the Bee Gees? No?
Probably the haircut. A bit of, well, that was more Michael. I don't know where I was
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, you took a turn there. You took a real sharp turn. I'm here for it. I like the turn. I liked where you were heading there. I
Okay.
really do.
Oh,
well, well, welcome everybody.
yes.
Welcome to the show. I am, as Melanie mentioned, I'm Angela Montoya. In case anybody forgot, I am the favorite host, Angela Montoya,
Just give you
author of City Bio.
background.
Yeah. No, that is not the truth. Everybody knows it's okay. I just try to, make up for that by saying it's me, but truly, the heart and soul of the show is Melanie Schubert, who I'm looking at right now. Actually, I'm looking at multiple versions of Melanie because she's got a shirt with our faces on her chest.
My favorite
But
shirt.
anyway, Melanie, how are you?
I'm good. I am hopped up on big energy after that episode. Like, seriously, talking to Isabel is like rider drugs. No, but I feel very energized.
Yes. Melanie is hopped up on rider drugs right now. I love it.
Yes. But it was just honestly like, I know we say this a lot, but every time I'm just like, it can't get better than last episode.
No.
And then on people come swinging their big rider energy and great and
Yeah.
filling us up with that big rider energy.
Um, yes, the visual I'm getting right now. It's not appropriate.
Now I have to
Um,
see your
yeah.
earrings again because
Okay, yeah.
we got cut off before.
It's hard to see, I'm sure,
No,
on here.
I
Okay.
could see it surprisingly well.
Guys,
Oh,
Melanie handcrafted the most gorgeous earrings for me. I mean, literally, I didn't post them yet because I've been posting too much and I didn't want, I
no,
need
we're not
time to
having
post.
that attitude. Now is your time to post. Remember, we're
Oh,
not doing
no,
that. You
no,
post
no,
away.
right. I've posted, yes, Esther, but I posted twice today and I posted twice yesterday. So I thought I'm going to take my time and
Yeah.
I'm going to do this post right because these earrings are so freaking cool. Like the detail, the roses, the little sea serpent. I mean, honestly, like I opened the package and I was not ready. I mean, these are
Oh,
so freaking, you are talented, creative, may I say.
I feel shy. Honestly, I was really nervous. Like, the ones I made for Para, I was like, damn, they were good. And then after I made those, I was like, shit, was that a fluke? Because this was actually like the fifth attempt, I have to say.
Really?
Remember that brown piece of poop looking Mr. Hanky? That was like attempt number three. And I was like,
Wow.
okay, I'll give it a break. And because you know what? I was trying to do people originally,
Oh, that's tough.
tried to put like an actual like mini cover. Not my gift. Not my gift. So
That's hard.
like I cannot tell you how possessed the characters looked when I tried to, like no, I wish they looked possessed. They weren't even. They were just like very, very bad stick people.
I kind of want that. I kind of
Okay,
want
I'll
that
make
now.
you like a dodgy, like evil looking stick figure version. But
Well,
then yeah, when
I love it. And I really appreciate that you took the time. I mean, the fact that this is your fifth attempt, like that means so much. That's so nice. They're so pretty. So, yes, thank you. I really appreciate it.
so now you have Sinner's Isle cover themed earrings. And that's the thing with the para ones, I realized I didn't put the people on there. I just put kind of the key elements of the book. And then I made the smoke, but I made it like hands reaching out instead because it felt more spooky.
I love it. I
And my
love it.
smoke wasn't my best gift. There was a version with smoke. It wasn't the best.
She worked for this gift. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. It's my little part of me that will go with you on your adventures.
Yeah, and I smelled the bag and I was like, this is what Melanie smells like.
I did spray my perfume because I got a new one and it smells like the forest. It's like from and I was like, that's really nice. I was like, maybe I'll spray it because the magazine page I used to wrap it kind of had this spooky vibe. I was like, it kind of like would be cool if it smelt like something. So I was like, oh, new forest scent. So I'm glad you picked up on that.
I did. I really and truly did. That's hilarious. I thought it was just like your natural musk.
It just infiltrated the parcel.
But it was on purpose. And that's awesome.
Purpose.
I'm glad I picked it up. And I was
It's nice.
Now I don't feel as weird.
Aesop. I don't know if you guys have that. They're Aesop. It's like they do like mostly face and creams and stuff, but they released some perfumes. I'm like, I'll give it a go. And it's giving. You know, when you go into those shops and they're like, I'm not kidding you, like meme level store people who are just like, now this one, she's called Gloam. It's a scent of rain on concrete. And then just imagine that moment when the sun breaks just through the clouds and the rain starts to, this is what they said to me. I'm not bullshitting. This was the pitch. They're like, and imagine when the rain starts to evaporate. That's the moment we've tried to capture in this fragrance. I was like, fuck, I need it.
Fuck, I need it. They sold you. They got your ass. But you know what? We love that. It's giving. It smells just like that. That is so.
But how are you, my friend? It's the week, 1 week countdown. 1 week countdown.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. No, I honestly, I'm good. Everything's fine. Super chill. I'm super good. Sleeping just fine.
Yeah, I bet.
Sleeping great. No,
getting
you asked me the other day. You were like, "Are you sleeping?" And I was like, "Oh shit, she caught me." I wake up randomly with just like random panics about the most random things. But honestly, it's not super like Sinner's Isle, the book related. I really truly feel like arcs have saved me because they've given me a taste, you know, of what's to come. Not everybody's going to love the book. It's not a perfect book. And I'm okay with that. Right. So I feel like that has really settled the nerves of like, oh, people are going to hate this. Like I've had, you know, enough reviews where I can see where I'm at. Obviously things will shift as more people read. Not everybody's going to love it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But, so like, as far as like the book being out, I feel good. I feel content. I'm okay. We're fine. Life is good. No stress. No,
but I feel like we're building up to a but.
But it's just this dang, like the book launch itself is killing me, which I keep complaining about because I keep like getting nervous again and again.
Yeah.
Of like, no one's going to go and it's going to be awkward. But I keep saying it doesn't matter as long as like, I don't know, as long as it's a fun time.
Yes, as long just let the wine flow freely that night.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. So yeah, I'm sure it's just the nerves of being in front of humans.
Which is it that scares you the most? That there won't be people there or that there will be people there?
No, I think I guess both. And so that's why I don't know why I did this because both options are pretty terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, it's just anytime you're going to do anything, it's scary. But I know it'll be really fun. And afterward, I'll be very happy I did it.
You
So,
will. I was gonna say, like, I went to our darling friend Katya de Bessero's book launch for her amazing book When Ghosts Call Us Home. I finally got my American copy. How cool is that cover? But
ooh,
yeah, like I think there could be nothing more opposite, I think, for bookish folk who spend a lot of time with ourselves in front of screens than to pluck ourselves away from said screens and private spaces and to put ourselves surrounded by people with like a lot going on. But and like, I'm not gonna lie, those things are tend to be overstimulating for someone like me, at least. Like, and you might be overstimulated. Like, it's not your usual environment. But what I can say is like it fills you up in so many other ways. Connecting
yeah,
like that in real, you will be probably exhausted after it all. But your little heart is going to be so full to exploding. And just be nice to yourself during this time and don't take on anything extra. Like just do what you can. And like, yeah, like losing out on sleep. Of course, though, if you even wake up to go to the bathroom and your brain's like, my fucking book comes out in a week, like that's really
yeah,
hard to wind down from. But
yeah. Well, and like just life stuff. Like Alicia just got her driver's license. She passed the test, flying colors. She did great. So even that, like, it's just like life stuff on top of book stuff. But then I like the other day we were watching American football game because I know everybody, it's called different football, soccer. Anyway, you know what I mean.
I
So I
know.
was watching. Yeah, thank you, thank you. So I was watching the game at my at Armando's uncle's house, who's also our neighbor.
Mm.
And so I was just sitting there and it was just like a fun time. Like we were drinking and just like enjoying. Like I was watching my sister and her girlfriend. They were playing a game. They were playing, it's called cornhole. So where you throw a beanbag into a hole. Okay. And so I was just sitting there drinking, laughing, and watching them play. And I was like, see, this is what I need to remind myself is to live beyond books and just like
Yeah.
be in these moments. And so it was like, I just need to remember life is bigger than
Yeah.
publishing a book and enjoy it. So I don't know where I'm going with that, but
No, you're right. It's a grounding thing when it's like a disorienting time, and maybe those are the moments that will bring you back when
yeah.
it's feeling like there's too much going on at the moment. Like that's cool to know though that you can just withdraw, have a beer at your uncle, your neighbors, whatever, and just
Yeah.
vibe.
Gotta vibe, damn it. Vibe. Just
Just
vibe.
vibe. But yeah, it's
Vibe.
a lot, but you're gonna do amazing. And you've been training for years now with the pod.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the thing about all of that stuff as well is anticipation is like 90% of anxiety, the wait. Once you're there, you're gonna be sweet. I'm not even
Yeah.
worried. It's just
Well,
like the
it's
waiting,
true.
the not knowing what to expect. But
Yeah. Well, even with the pod, like the
yeah.
it's the anticipation, like the 5 minutes before we log on, the sweat comes. Like I'm like,
Uh,
like I've never done this. I'm like, what do you get nervous?
heck yeah. Oh my gosh, every time I'm like, why did I do this to myself? I'm like, you have
Every time.
anxiety disorder, bitch. Why did you decide to put your face on Zoom for 2 goddamn hours and talk to people every
I had that
time?
same, I had that same fucking thought right before we got on this episode. Like, what am I doing to myself? Why am I doing this? This is hard.
This is and 100%. It's not every time. I would say it's every time to varying. No, there's definitely been episodes where it's friends that we already know where I really was excited. But I would say a good like 70% of the time there's at least a little bit of that, like, OMG, sweating, why am I, and the most random times it will be triggered with, like, if I was anticipating a certain guest, or like depending what you had going on that week, like it can be really intense.
Yes. Okay. Well, however, how many episodes we've done this, I'm so glad we've mentioned this to each other.
It's like almost our 100th episode coming up.
Holy shit. Oh my
I
God. Can you
know.
imagine?
I
Well,
know.
that makes sense because every time we do hop on, we're both like doing our little dances or jigs or whatever to calm our bodies down.
Yeah, but then the thing is, every time we get off, I'm like, thank God I fucking did this, because I don't know if I'd still be writing if it wasn't for this podcast. Like, the way it built community around us. When I say I don't think I'd be writing, not in this way, not still like chasing the publishing dream and like interacting with the community, but like it really has brought us like a real community. And I got to meet I got to meet Belinda at the launch, and another friend, that librarian Helen that I was telling you about. So
yes,
she listens to the pod as well, and it was just like, it felt like I already knew them because I've been watching their reels, and yeah, like just listening to Isabel talk about Zoraida, and I was just like, man, like I have a few people like that, and like Katia having her book launch, like just listening to what other people said about her and just feeling like, yes, she's one of those. She's this generous spirit who's always had like an eye out for me, always wanted me to succeed, and I'm just like, oh, it's just so nice when, I don't know if you saw that reel the other day that I put up, and it was like, when you found the corner of Instagram, or like the world, let's be real, where like all the girlies are cheering each other on and wanting each other to succeed. And I was just like, it's like feeling like you can do it on the days when you don't feel like you can, because your community is like, yeah, go.
yeah,
And that's going to come through for you now, because you've been hustling and you've got your community, and we're all going to scream for you.
Yeah, yes, thank you. But it's true. Like the community, I mean, I think it was last episode where we were bawling, or maybe it was the episode before.
The episode before.
We were sobbing our eyes out because of the community. But it's the truth. Like it's the thing that really does hold your hand, boost you up, whatever you need, they're there at that time. And it's really, really beautiful. And I think like with our guests, we always say, oh, this guest was the best, and this guest is the best. Like every guest, but I think it's just bookish people. It's just writers. Not all, obviously. That's just not how the world works. But the ones that it seems like we are, okay, not attracted to, but in our
I know what like attracts like. I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so I feel like those ones, the ones that we've had on, it's been so cool because they are all amazing, and it's because they are magic, and writers are magic, and it's really fun. It's fun being here.
Yeah. You just reminded me of one of my favorite quotes, which is, and I think this is like a writer, I'm going to just refashion it for the writer community. A true friend knows the song in your heart and sings it back when you've forgotten the words. I've always loved that quote. And I feel like that's what the writing community is constantly doing, just like reminding us why we started doing it, and just like hearing everybody's stories. Like sometimes you can kind of become a bit numb to stuff when you've been like over inundated with something or whatever. But like literally every time we have someone on, and they like Isabel, I felt like she was such an open book. And she just came on with such authenticity. And that speaks to me so deeply, for someone to like really share their true thoughts and really share and I mean, the first thing she says when she comes on is like, how are you doing, Angela? Because she knows you've got your debut coming up. And like, it's just such a generous, spirited person. And good job getting her on.
Dude, she's that bitch. Okay. Because she had followed me. I mean, I already was following her, let's be honest. Okay. I knew I'm a fan, But so she, followed me randomly and was like, hey,
Yeah.
I know this might be weird, but I'm here if you need anything. I know how debuting is. And I'm telling you, I was like, what? She was so nice that I turned into my son and I was like, what's this about? Is this a fake
Yeah.
account? What is this? She's too nice.
You're so nice, and people like that are gonna gravitate towards you. And she's so right as well that like something that like it's like a thing that like a self-awareness thing to kind of learn who those people are, that energy. Because like I think like when you're nice to a lot of people and you kind of probably attract a bunch of people, but like yeah, finding those ones who are like looking out for you too, because you give a lot of energy, and so I think people like her are like, someone like me, hey, I'm looking at you because I know you're suffering like me. Now, not to like take away from deep and meaningful things, but can you please explain to me what is on your fucking wall over there? What is that painting behind the trees? What is that?
That thing?
Yeah, it looks like a little demon doll from here.
It is. It's a scarecrow.
For fuck's sake, Angela Montoya, it's demonic. What the hell? Oh.
Okay, when I looked at it, yes, it did look really scary. But it's just
Okay, that is not what I was seeing. The silhouette of that was giving horror.
Yeah, I mean, when you mention it, it looked pretty scary. But it's just a cute little scarecrow from the dollar store, and I've never taken off the tag now that I'm
Is that for Halloween?
Melanie.
Or it's just fall?
Listen to me. Listen to me. I celebrate Halloween and fall equally. Okay. I'm just happy to see. I'm happy to see.
I actually wasn't ready for you to put it on screen. you actually genuinely startled me. Speaking of startling things,
okay.
I saw it in like pop up on Netflix. I was like, nah, that's probably too scary for me. But then Devona was saying Fall of the House of Usher. Have you seen it?
Oh, I started it. Okay, so listen, let me break something down.
All right, so break it down.
So there's two other series. I think that's either by the same writers or director. Yeah. And they're so good. I can't remember what, like Blythe Manor. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, they're so good. Those two are so good. And Adrian, my son, and I watched them, like we binged them last year. And so when we saw Fall of the House of Usher, we're like, oh, awesome. It's going to be like that. This one's a little more sexy. And so it's a little a little awkward. I wasn't ready for to see some cheek out.
Hashtag club orgy.
Yes. A whole fucking club orgy.
Yeah,
with my 13-year-old. So I was like, what? And I just fast forward. And of course, like whenever those things happen, I can never find the remote fast enough. So I'm like, close your eyes. And he's like, Mom, come on. I'm mature. No, I'm not. Like, shush. But yeah, look, it's pretty good.
Oh, that is rough. That is rough. Yeah. Motherhood sounds difficult. I would know what to say in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, kids these days, they just know everything and have seen everything anyways, but I don't want to be seeing it with them. And it's awkward as hell. But Adrian, he's so practical minded. He was like, don't worry, Mom, I'm not looking. I'm like,
oh, bless. He's so mature.
Yes, he's always been, he's a character. So, but yeah, have you watched it?
I'm watching it. I thought it would be too spooky for me, but like, because ironically, even though I'm leaning towards writing spooky stuff, like my tolerance historically for horror is like there's just certain kinds I just cannot cope with. Even with House of Usher, the scenes where there's like, melting flesh or whatever, I'm kind of like, reading the subtitles. But yeah, I understand that I'm inconsistent and I'm like writing really spooky shit at the moment. So, but I love it. I would weirdly compare it to Game of Thrones. It pushes the envelope in areas that are like, oh, just the storytelling is masterful. Like I am hooked. I am hooked in that world. And I was watching it because Devona suggested it for like cult vibes as well. Yeah, because I've got that cult, because she heard me talking about the cult vibes on the pod and she was like, oh, you should watch this. And I was like, all right. So yeah, but I'm so impressed with it. It's definitely exceptional storytelling.
It is. And the other two shows that are like that, which again, I can't remember their names, but all the same actors are pretty much in it.
Is it?
Yeah. So it's really cool. And they're so different in each.
Can I handle the others? Like, is it like
they're like that? No, they're like that subtle something in the background, kind of.
Oh, that scarecrow, it's like looks cute, but it's probably possessed. You probably better like put it back in its spot because otherwise it might come and get you at night. It's so random. It is the most random decoration that you have.
You guys don't wait. Okay, do you decorate for Halloween?
For Halloween, you know what? It was not a thing in Australia at all. And as you know, I grew up conservative and like to the point where like I would see that stuff and I would be like, oh, that's evil Satan house. But obviously not like that anymore. And it's becoming bigger and bigger every year, which I love. Like kids are starting to dress up and like I used to like dangle candy from my like window. I'd put it on threads of cotton because I live in an apartment. It's not like and usually it was like a secure entry. So I would dangle it from the window and I put like a plastic severed leg so the kids would see it and come and they'd snip the candy off the cotton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like sealed like chocolates and stuff so that you could stitch it on. But yeah, I don't know if I'll do it this year, but I like it. It gets bigger every year. It's fun. I'm here for any excuse to celebrate,
Yeah. Halloween's a fun one.
Yeah. Here. We're definitely influenced by the States, like I think that we slowly embrace the spookiness.
Embrace it.
Embrace the spookiness. But no, I was curious if you were watching that. Now I'll have to check out the others. But yeah, I think I don't like to be too on edge when I'm watching something, but I'm binging Queer Eye, which balances it out. So if I'm feeling too on edge from House of Usher, then I'm watching Queer Eye to make me feel good. And seriously, I'm just like, if everybody watched that show, I'm just like, the world would be healed.
It would though. It really, really would. And they would look good too.
They would step out in style and slay. Yeah. Now I know there's probably like,
on point.
I know there's probably a million things, but like, is there something for Sinner's Isle Corner specifically that you would like to share today?
I don't. Oh, okay. Sinner's Isle is in a book box, which is the swoony. Actually, it's in two.
It is.
Swoony lit book box, which is awesome. It's like a young adult, new adult book box. That's kind of new. But the owner of the book box, Melissa, like she's just a badass. So she does was it Steamy Lit? She does a brand new book conference that she does, and I'll be going to that next year. But yeah, so Sinner's Isle is in that book box, and also Fox and Wit, which they redid the cover for it.
Yes.
And it's really, really cool. It's such a cool cover. So those are like things I was really happy about, because I was just like it's just like a fun, I don't know, anything where you add to like the book, like, little goodies, I think is super cool. Yeah, I don't I think that's
I'm waiting for someone to do like the sprayed edges. Have you seen that trend people do where they do the sprayed edges? So if any of our listeners do that, I would like to see sprayed edges version of Sinner's Isle.
hell
Also,
yeah.
you're not ready for what I did the other day. Like, maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but like it was ridiculous. And I cannot wait to post this reel. This reel that
Oh,
has lived in my head rent free for years. I finally made.
okay. When is it going live? When do we get to see this?
Debut day, baby. Debut
Okay.
day. It's
I'm ready.
stupid. It's stupid, but I know you love my stupid humor, so
I do.
this
I
is
really.
like extra level stupid.
Oh, yes. Oh, this makes me more excited, I think.
I know. I was just like, I wanted to show you straight away, but no, it has to wait. It must wait for the time.
Okay, well, 10 more days, nine, no, a week. What the heck am
Dude,
I
a
talking
week. A
about?
week.
Sorry.
It's the final countdown.
Really,
Do-do-do-do.
that's crazy.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, it's real. It's Oh, I saw it in the bookstore. I saw Sinner's Isle in the
I knew
bookstore.
there was something. My brain was like, there was something. There was something, but I just couldn't get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, because Mackenzie Reed, who we've had on, we're debuting on the same day.
Yeah.
And so she went into her local bookstore, which is hosting her launch.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
she had her books there. And I was like, maybe I'll just go see. I'm not gonna like have expectations. I'm just gonna see.
Yeah.
At my local store, who also is hosting a launch. So I went in there and honestly, I wasn't even looking. I forgot what I was in there for. I was just looking at a book and I was like, oh, I like that cover. And
Yeah.
then my eye like literally went right to the left and I saw my books. And Alicia was right next to me and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, I said, what the heck? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I said, what the heck?
Are you
No, I
gonna
said,
censor now after all this time?
I was so caught off guard that I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She's like, what? And I was like, that's my freaking book. And we just had this moment of like just looking at each other like, you know? And so it was really fun. I turned it face out. It
Yes.
wasn't, but I
As
turned
you
it face
should.
out. I took a little photo shoot. But yeah, it was fun. So I just kind of figured, oh, it's just here. But then another friend went to her local Barnes and Noble and went and bought it, which is
Yeah.
I think it was in Fresno, so a couple hours south of me. So
Did you
she's out.
sign them or no? You were like
I didn't even think
incognito.
about it. I did not even think about it. But what I did do was stand in the aisle and just stare at people to see if they were looking. I just stared. Yeah, I just
I
stared.
love you. That's so iconically Angela Montoya. Like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, it's my book. I better sign it." You're like, "I'll just watch and see if anybody happens to walk in, even though they don't know it's out yet." It's like not like I love that you were hoping they would also come looking a week early.
I was just like, because it's near Twilight, right underneath Twilight stuff. So there was like a girl in that area, and I thought,
Yeah.
she must be looking. I don't think she was, but there's still hope. She could have gazed.
Yes. How did you feel when you saw it on the shelf?
It was like I didn't because I wasn't I was expecting but not expecting, so it was like one of those like, holy shit. Well, that's
Yeah, yeah.
wild. And then that was and then I just sat there staring. Like I said, I was just looking, waiting. Nothing happened.
Yeah, maybe you'll just have to set up a camera and we'll like watch your babies in bookstores. Not in a creepy way, just to see who's gonna browse.
I should go in there and just set up a little mini camera on the actual book.
Yeah.
I could see people staring at it. Yeah.
But we better read the bio. I see that like somehow we bullshitted our way.
Yeah, we've just given up on trying.
I
to
know.
stay
But
short.
yeah, at this point, I think our listeners are used to it, or they just tune us out and fast forward. That's probably possible too.
It could be it, but that's okay because Isabel was great, and we're great
Yeah.
too. But obviously, you want to hear what Isabel has to say because she's amazing.
She really is. I'm like grateful to have had her words in my ears today. That sounded a lot more wanky than it sounded in my head. I'm
No,
gonna
no, no,
you
no.
talk
When
now.
you came in and you said swinging her big energy around, that was worse. Okay, in the ears, fine, but the swinging of the
In the ears
energy,
is fine. Swinging the old cloaca.
yeah. Shoo.
Yeah, big
Well,
cloaca
you want to
energy.
read this since you're in your cloaca
Oh
energy
shit.
era?
Yes.
Good.
How do I pronounce the N with the thing over the top?
Oh, Ibañez. Let's just
Nya. So it goes Nya,
yeah,
Ibañez.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Isabel Ibañez is the author of Together We Burn, written in starlight and woven in moonlight, Page Street. A finalist for the William C. Morris Award, and is listed among Time Magazine's 100 best fantasy books of all time. That's really cool. She was born in Boca Raton, Florida, and is the proud daughter of Bolivian immigrants. Isabel has a profound appreciation for, I don't know why I said appreciation.
You wanted to pronounce all the letters in there.
I did. Isabel has a profound appreciation for history and traveling and loves hosting family and friends around the dinner table. She currently lives in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina with her husband, their adorable dog, and a serious collection of books. Say hi on social media at IsabelRider09.
Yay. Let's get this magical human being.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. I mean, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. But I'm gonna be super prepared for this, guys.
I love that.
Here we go. I have the book.
Woo.
I have this. I don't know why I have this, but I have it just in case.
I love
And yeah. Sorry if I'm a little flustered. Was trying to put my new kids to bed. Was not going well.
Oh no.
But we're here.
Okay.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Well,
How are
we're
you
relaxed.
guys? Hello.
Yes. Well, don't worry. We're a relaxed at home podcast. So if you need to pause to do things or if things are hectic, just be calm to do whatever you have to.
Okay, thank you. I am anticipating that they will fall asleep. My husband is here and he's fantastic. So he is on it. So I think that we'll be okay.
Good. Well, that's good. And you have twins? Little ones?
Twins.
Whoa. Yeah.
I just had them.
Oh
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Bless you.
I mean, it was a long journey. It took us 5 years to get here, so it's wonderful. But as you can imagine, it's an adjustment, and then the book is coming out, and so doing all of the things is no longer possible. Even though I prided myself, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna do all the things. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do all the things when you don't have babies. And you know what I mean? So do whatever you can, and that's enough.
Yeah, for sure. It's really great to meet you. It's really great to meet you, Melanie.
You too. I have to say your earrings are enchanting me every time they peek out from your hair.
Thank you. It's actually this jewelry maker. I'll send you the Instagram. It's beautiful. So it's like a crescent moon, and then it has these stars. Anyway, it's Alcamilla. It's her name, and she does beautiful designs, and she does them all by hand.
I love that.
Stunning.
Yeah, just beautiful. So thank you. I will, man, I wish I was her friend. I just want to be friends with all of the creatives because they're passionate about something, and I just want to hear their story. I want to hear about their life and how they got to be doing what they're doing. So
I feel that so much.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we have you on, because we want to know. all about you, and we feel the same exact way. So I mean,
gosh.
I get it. I totally get it.
Got it.
Well,
Angela, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you. I want to hear how you're doing.
I'm doing okay. Right
Okay.
now, right at this moment, I'm doing okay. I'm a little frazzled because I'm trying to work on a new pitch for a book. And so
Okay.
my brain is hurting. But other than that, I'm okay.
Wait a minute. Is this the one that you've hinted at, the one that I'm really excited about? That one?
No, that one's basically, we're in copy edits with that one. So this is a brand new.
Okay.
But I
Will
have
you
to
send
say,
that to me? Will you send that to me?
yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, just send that to me. Okay.
Well, let me just stop right there because you are
Yeah.
the nicest human being
Oh,
alive. Like, I have to tell you, Melanie, like, she like went into the DMs just to see, you know, how debut's going and just to
gosh.
be the
I'm just gonna
kindest
go
human.
here. Bye.
No, I have to brag on you. Honestly, it's so funny because my son, when he was like in first grade, he had the nicest teacher. And I remember on the second day of school, I was like, well, how is, you know, your teacher? And he goes, well, she's really nice. I don't trust her. And I thought, you know, and he's just that kid, right? Where he's just like, she's too nice. But truly, you are so nice. And I can trust it. I can trust it. You're the nicest human. So thank you for asking, honestly.
Truthfully, it's because I had do you know Zoraida?
Yes, we love Zoraida.
Zoraida. She was wonderful and has been and has continued to be just wonderful and deeply loyal and has so much integrity that to me when I was you know, my first book was Woven in Moonlight, and I was so excited. It took me a long time, you know, everybody's story, right? It's not special, but she was really excited, and she kind of, she was just there for me, and she would check in on me, and it meant a lot to me. It meant so much to me, and she still is like that. Even no matter what happens, no matter whatever's on the internet, not and things happening, or you know, industry is such a roller coaster. You feel supported sometimes, you don't feel supported, but she's always been just constant. And so when I found out about, well, it was funny because I didn't know what other books were coming out on my day. And I like to I just like to know in case that if I'm around and if I catch it, I want to share. And so I saw yours and I thought, oh my gosh. And the other thing too, is that I had written a Latina pirate story that never sold ever. And so when I saw your book, I was like, I'm going to like this. I know that I'm going to like this. So I'm very excited. I cannot wait for my pre-order to come. Truly.
You are just the best, honestly. It truly, it does. It means so much. And it's one of those things I feel like you'll never forget, just like how you were saying with Zoraida, like those interactions are so special. And so honestly, thank you. Like for not, you know, not to say like reaching down, but like for reaching out and just being there. And it's truly, it means the world. And so thank you. Honestly, I mean, I've always been a fan of yours since book one. And so when I saw your DM, I was like, oh. So.
Well, listen, I'm real excited for you. Truly. I'll be thinking about you on Tuesday, you know, and I'll be sharing and again. So it's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a fun. There's so many amazing books like yours. But first, I want to know like a little bit about your story. Like, did you always want to be a writer?
Yes, always wanted to be. I come from a long generation of storytellers, and not in a professional sense. I mean, like the ones gathered in La Finca, and everybody is talking about all their different things. And my father is such a great storyteller. He's so funny. He has great comedic timing. And my mother has just the energy. And when I was little, I started keeping just journals. And actually, when I got married, my mom had saved all of these different journals where I'd start. I would never finish stories. I would get too excited and I would jump to the next one. But she saved all of them and all of my drawings and illustrations, and she gave them to me on my wedding day. If you can believe, I mean, it was truly special. So my parents have always been supportive, and they would tell me when I was little, I would line up all of my stuffed animals, and I would, they were characters in my stories. And so I would speak to them and give them, a different adventure every night. So yes, I've always wanted to be a writer. That and an Egyptologist and an astronaut, but I'm terrified of flying, so that didn't work out for me. And I can't do math.
To be an Egyptologist, I wonder what that is. Learning about the pyramids back in primary school or elementary school over there.
Yeah. Yes. I was a voracious reader even as a young kid. And my parents, I remember for my 11th birthday, they bought me the biography of Agatha Christie, but then I had a fascination with Egypt. And so they gave me books and things, all these different, I remember this blue book in particular, and I just loved it. I could not get enough of it.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I have to ask, did you try to learn hieroglyphs? Listen, young Melanie. I was close.
You know what? Yeah, there's a few, right, that but especially with this book, the level of research that I did, I was just fascinated. There are so many hieroglyphs, so many. And like the English language, there are words that were popular in season per dynasty, and then they would fall out of favor for whatever reason, and a new hieroglyph would be entered into the Rolodex. And so you could be looking at a hieroglyph and not know from what kingdom it is, whatever, because the language changes and transforms just like English did.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
I never thought of doing the research. This girl did some research. She knows her shit.
I nerded out quite a bit. I have the book here, and I had a whole dictionary of hieroglyphs. Anyway, yes. So I did try. Then I thought, oh no, this is why there are professionals who will actually, they have a degree on this. Not for me. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, I want to know more about What the River Knows, because
sure,
just from the character art alone, I would have bought the book. Girl.
Well, look here. I happen to have the character right here. Great.
Oh my God.
I see what you did.
No, it's stunning though. It's stunning. It's so good.
It's beautiful. It was done by a Ukrainian artist named Alice Blake. I will share her Instagram. Wow. It's unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Incredibly talented artist.
Wow. So talented. It looks real, like a real person. As soon as you held it up, I was like, I feel like I know them. Yeah. Like there's real life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the artist is, I can't imagine what they must have done to get to this level of excellence. Another creative. I just want to be their best friend.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I always even if I go to the theater or something, and as you're watching people perform, and I'm just like, I want to know their story. I want to know. I remember seeing Moulin Rouge and really thinking these people were grinding to get here, and you just feel it in their every movement. And passionate people excite me, whatever they're doing. It doesn't even have to be creative. If people are talking about their job, I want to hear about it.
Absolutely. It really could be anything. Yeah. If you want to talk about quantum physics, absolutely. Let me sit down, explain it to me. I won't get it, but I want to hear the passion in your voice for sure.
I get that. This about you. I love this energy that you brought on. Now, I want to ask, what was your querying and submission journey like to get where you are now?
Let's see. It was, I studied and majored in creative writing in college, and immediately afterward tried to get published and hit a dead end. Did not realize how hard it was. And for some reason, I think I just left without a great sense of what I needed to do next to achieve my dream, to get there. And so, it took me a long time, but my husband and I got married and we honeymooned, and where did we go? Oh my gosh, Jamaica. And I had this idea for a Latina pirate story, and I wrote it and immediately tried to query. I sent out something 89 queries, and it got rejected every single time. And at the time, somebody had given me this piece of advice, which wasn't great. So I'm just going to go ahead and say this. This is what you should not do. But they said, it only takes one. So query wildly, just keep going, send out your queries, do that. But the truth is that I learned that actually whoever you decide to have represent you, it's incredibly important. And so you want to do your research prior, not just kind of throw spaghetti at the wall. And sometimes it's better to not have an agent than to be represented really poorly. So after that, I did not get any offers of representation or anything like that. And then I entered something called Pitch Wars. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, we were in it. We were in the.
You guys were in it.
Yeah, that's how Kelly and I met. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So I was in Pitch Wars in 2015.
Okay.
Gosh, in 2015. And so I got selected with that Latina Pirate Story. And so me and my mentor, who's wonderful, she has a book coming out. That's Not My Name is the name of the book, by Megan Lawley. And anyway, from there, we worked on it together, and I ended up participating in DV Pit, and that's where I got interest. And so I was represented. I was offered representation, but then that book never sold. Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that it didn't. It was just something that it was almost like I was relearning how to do it and learning how to write. And then from there, I started brainstorming what is the story that I really wanted to write. And it ended up being Woven in Moonlight, which was Bolivian inspired. It was, I mean, it was so much of my lived experience. And that's the story that came out.
That's so cool. And that is such a beautiful book. Well, and inside and out, the cover, which I believe you did, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The cover is everything. I mean, it's so freaking cool.
Thank you.
I honestly, I have it just kind of as art on one of my tables, just because I love it.
Really?
Yes, it's beautiful. So again, creatives, you're creative in many ways, which is really, really cool. And it's fun to know that you were a Pitch Wars gal, which I feel like I knew.
Yeah. I after 2015, I went back and I did it for 4 years as a mentor.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's such a special thing, and it's something we talk about a lot on the show, which is kind of like mourning the community that was built around it, and looking for that again, which is kind of hard. It was a beautiful thing while it lasted, and a great mentorship and the whole shebang. So it obviously brought you out into the world, and now here we are with What the River Knows, which again, the cover, the art, the everything.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The designer, the cover artist is Micaela Alqueno, and she did, I looked at it and I said, that's the one. It is so beautiful. It conveys everything. Somehow it's cinematic. It feels historical, but there's a touch of that magical component to it that's very subtle, kind of like the story. And that was it. I fell in love with it the moment I saw it.
And rightly so. It's perfect. Now, can you tell our listeners a little bit about what it's about?
Yes. So What the River Knows is a young adult historical fantasy, and it's about a girl named Inez. She's Bolivian Argentinian, which I'm Bolivian, and I also have a lot of family in Argentina. So it just felt like a nod to them. And so Inez is in Buenos Aires and always wants to go with her parents, who love to travel to Egypt. And they're actually gone for half the year in Egypt. And so she's never allowed to go. And the start of the book, she's waiting for this letter because she's written to them and saying, please, can I come with you this time? And so she's waiting for this letter, their reply to come back. And it's, not a spoiler, it's in the back of the book, but the letter arrives and she finds out that they've died. And so from there, she decides to embark on this adventure. She goes to Egypt because she wants to solve the mystery of her parents' deaths and what happened to them. And when she gets there, she finds out, she's an heiress. And so she finds out that her new guardian does not want her there. And he has sent his assistant to come and meet her at the dock and literally put her back onto the boat so that she can leave Egypt and not come back. And, so her Inez does not agree to do that, of course, and decides to stay, much to the guardian's assistant, he just cannot stand her. But anyway, so that's the rest of the story, is how she proceeds to irritate him for the rest of the book as she's trying to solve this mystery of what happened and why her parents died.
Oh my gosh, my body is ready. Like I need the Netflix version of this right now. Like that sounds like everything I want to be reading and watching.
Were you did either of you watch the movie The Mummy by any chance?
That's what I was picturing when you were describing it.
That's the way that I would describe this book. It's Death on the Nile, Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile meets the adventure and setting of The Mummy.
Perfect.
So that's how I would describe it. That's how I would pitch.
I am sold. I think I want to say we've seen Mummy 1, 2, 3. Is there a fourth? I don't remember, but
I don't know if there's
probably pretty bad. Was the Scorpion King part of that franchise too?
Yes, I think so.
Right? See, I love it. I love that world. I love it. I'm here for this book.
Same. I got to go to Egypt for the research part of it, and getting to see, it felt like it was a dream come true. I had always wanted to go, as you can imagine, and so getting to go was just incredible.
Oh, that is amazing. Now, what brought this book out to you? Was it just always that love of Egypt that really inspired you?
I think so. I always I remember thinking, if I ever got to actually do this for a living, I was always going to set a book in Egypt. I just didn't have the story. I didn't have the idea. And then one day I saw Inez in my mind. You know, as authors do, we see vision. We hear voices and visions and whatever. So I saw Inez, and she was completely dressed in black, pretending to be a widow, traveling by herself on this boat to Egypt. And I immediately wanted to know, who is she? Why is she pretending to be a widow? Why is she, I mean, clearly she was in this 1884 garb. And so I knew it was a historical. And I just kept asking and asking, like, what are you doing there? Why are you there? What's going on? And that from there, that's where the story bloomed.
Was there something you saw on your trip that made it into the book, or inspired something you wrote specifically that you remember?
You know, actually, it was, I started, as soon as I knew that I was going to be writing this book and then it sold, I was drafting the book, and then I booked the trip to Egypt specifically for research. And so I went with my husband for 3 weeks, and we traveled everywhere. And I was very intentional. I wanted to eat the same kind of foods that they would be eating. I wanted to stay in hotels that existed in that time period. I wanted to walk in the same footsteps. So we went everywhere that they went. And even the dahabiya, which is the boat, the barge that they travel up the Nile to Philae, we did the same thing. It didn't have a motor, nothing. And we spent nearly a week just on the water, on the Nile, sailing.
Wow.
I'm obsessed with this. This is a whole other story.
It was truly incredible. I hired Egyptian guides all the way through. I worked with Egyptian Egyptologists, and then I also worked with another Egyptologist. He's British, but he actually has a show on National Geographic. So I was just nerding out the entire time. Every time he emailed me, there would be like photos of mummies and tombs and temples and this, and like whole sections of things to research and read on my own. And it was like Christmas.
Oh my
Every time I got an email. Yeah.
That is a dream. I mean, how freaking cool is that? I'm looking out for you because it sounds so amazing.
Thank you. I hope people like it. I put a lot of heart into it, and I hope that it for people especially who love the movie The Mummy, it's not a retelling, it's not any of that, but it is just kind of a love story to that movie, to Egypt and everything. So I hope I did it justice.
I'm so excited. It makes me just want to like read it even faster or more. Whichever. I'll read it fast and I'll read it a lot. Now, how was this compared to your other projects?
So different. Incredibly different. I think the project before this was Together We Burn, and that one is a Spanish fantasy inspired by Spain, and I had this idea. My on my mother's side of the family, 100 years ago, they immigrated from Spain. So my mom's side of the family still has a lot of tios, primos, whatever. And so we went to go visit them, and my cousins took me to a bullfight, which I did not have a good time.
Sure.
I can't say that I enjoyed it, but the arena was packed like a Friday football game. And it was you look around and you see it's so culturally intrinsic to Spaniards. And so I started having this kind of question of, man, what would it be like if, because bullfighting is a 3,000-year-old tradition in Spain. I'm like, how could you honor where you came from and maybe reimagine a tradition in a new way? And so I wrote that book, and instead of bulls in the arena, I put dragons. And so the whole book was kind of me trying to wrestle with this experience that I had watching a bullfight and hating it. But also realizing you just can't go into somebody's culture and especially intrinsic in who they are. I mean, when they report about the scores of the bullfights, it's not even in the sports section in the newspaper. It's in the lifestyle section. It is so culturally them. And so I didn't want to go in with like my loud opinions and my hot take. I just was kind of like, how do you move forward as a society, as a country? How do you move forward with something that has been part of who you are for 3,000 years, but really try to imagine it in a way where there isn't so much death? Could that be possible? And so that was what happened with Together We Burn. I felt like I was exploring a question, and I don't necessarily think I came up with an answer, but I felt like it was important to ask the question. And so with What the River Knows, I don't think I was asking a question. I feel in my previous books, I think that I wrestle with some components, some cultural things, some economic things, some historical thing. But with What the River Knows, it really felt like I was going on an adventure. It's the first time where I sat down and the story poured out of me, and it was fun. It was so fun. And then, of course, there was this sensitivity to the time period and the colonialism, the imperialism, and the British occupation of Egypt, So there was so much to that, but really it was something that I just had to do. It felt different from everything else that I'd done. I don't know if any of that made sense.
I've got chills listening to you, because I find this plays on repeat, this stuff in my head, these nuanced conversations about like culture and change and like finding the middle ground between past and present and the way society changes. And it's things I think about a lot. And I think the most important thing you said is ask the question. And like, I've been binging Queer Eye recently, and the last town they were in was Texas, and the guy that they had on was not familiar with any of it. He was very overwhelmed by 5 queer people coming to his place, but he had welcomed them in. And he just like, I was on edge watching it, and I was like, how's this going to go? Because he's obviously awkward with them. But
yeah,
I see why they put him on. He was so open-hearted, and he was just like, is it okay if I ask these questions? And they were like, please ask the questions. So he would ask, how do I refer to you? And then, they'd be like, well, I'm non-binary, rah, rah. And the conversations happened in a place of openness and like willingness to hear each other out. So yeah, I heard that. I'm like I received the conversation. I'm very like, interested in these nuances of like how society can progress, honoring the past, but moving towards better. So
yes, better. Yes, better. And or even like it, and if it can't be better, maybe different.
Yeah, just hearing each other, asking the questions, and making space, I guess, is like, I guess that's what books like that do. They make the space for conversations to start. So
absolutely. I feel like it's interesting. My first 3 books, I really think that they live in a gray area. They all kind of pose a question. There are very clear different kinds of arguments. And so I think that they exist in the gray because you're listening to both sides, you're learning, you're beginning to have empathy where you had none, so I think sometimes too, as you're asking a question, you're also learning how to live in the in between for a little bit. And that can be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable. But then you look around and you're not alone in the in between, right? People give up or give up things that they've long held so tightly with the tight fist, and they loosen up a little bit. And that's beautiful when people can come together and they can create something new, and it can be beautiful.
Yes, that's it right there. I mean, just this conversation I think is so timely in a world where things are always shifting, and we're always like in this I feel like the very best people are always in this like space of just asking questions and trying to understand and learn and be better themselves. And I think it's like in that space where you feel comfortable to ask the questions and hear the answers and take it all in, instead of, like you said, being just a loud mouthpiece of your own ideas of what's right or wrong, but taking the time to actually listen and understand. It's a really powerful thing. And I feel like maybe the world would stand to do better to just listen sometimes. And
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think I love what you said though, because it does take, the first step is feeling safe to ask the question. And I think until you create a safe space like that, it will be hard to have meaningful conversation, right? And I think this is where a lot of fear comes in, and it's just safer to stay quiet. It's safer to opt out, safer to not, I'm not going to get involved. I can't. But imagine if you were invited into that space and you could ask as many questions as you want and you grow from it, So yeah.
I love it so much. And I think that's like the beauty of storytelling. And it's like for you kind of start with this question and then explore. And sometimes there's no answer, and that's okay. But starting with like, okay, well, who is this person and where do they need to go? I just love that, like, exploration. Now, what do you do when you feel stuck creatively?
When I feel, it's interesting, you didn't ask me what I do when I'm stuck in plot, which I know exactly what I do, right? But you asked me about creatively. I think as I've continued on this journey, whenever I feel stuck creatively, there is something that has to give in my life. I have often found that I'm either stressed about something, I am fixating on a problem that has been keeping me up at night. I have been doing other things that drain me as opposed to fill up my tank, my well, whatever you want to call it. And so when I'm feeling stuck, I take a look at my life, and I often found that I have to let go of something. And lately, particularly with this job, it has been social media that has been such a detriment in some seasons for creativity. And especially with the job that I have to learn how to protect that creativity. It is quite literally my livelihood. So identifying when I'm starting to feel drained, when I'm showing up too much, when I'm possibly like posting too much, whatever it is, but I have to take a step back or create a better schedule where I am not just fixated, and kind of doom scrolling.
Yes, preach. I felt that in every fiber of my being. It's definitely speaking to me right now because, like something I think about a lot lately is I didn't go into this to be a social media influencer. And I'm the same. At a point, it's fun. And then there's a point it starts to suck your soul. There's a point where us sensitive, creative people start to absorb everything that other people are like, well, I'm just going to go about my day because they can just scroll past it and move on. But we're like, I have to fix this. The world is falling apart. I must do something. And 100%, that's very wise self-care advice. And it's very self-aware and necessary, I think, to keep the joy in this industry.
That is quite literally how to do it without the joy. The work suffers, the art suffers. You're no longer creating art at this point. You're just doing the checklist to meet your contract, your deadline, and that's not life. You're not living at that point. So yeah, that would be, once I let go of something, then I can fill in something that gives me life, that actually is filling up that creativity, that is inspiring. And for me, that's been reading or going for a walk, watching a favorite movie that gives me all the feels, right? Yes. So yeah.
You're hitting my heart right now. Feeling that. Well, okay, let me go back to my question then. What do you do when you're stuck plotting wise? Like, because I need to know. I need help, actually.
So I think that there are many ways to answer this question, and I think different people will tell you different things. But I have found personally, whenever I am stuck with my plot, it's because something's up with my character. To me, I very much think that your plot is your character, or what happens in your plot is because of your character. And so when I'm stuck, it's because I don't understand what my character wants. I don't understand what is working against that character. Because often when you're creating plot points, you are wanting to make things terrible for your main character. You're wanting to hit wounds. You're wanting to pull up scars. You're wanting to back them into a corner to see what they do. You want to raise the stakes and the tension, and that all begins with your character. So, for example, I talked about I'm not good at math. And so for me, if someone were to give me a math test, that would be very high stress. If I put that in the book, it is a plot point, but if it has nothing to do with my character, it doesn't matter how stressful that math test is. It does not matter, because my character, that's not their wound. That's not their whatever. You have to, when you're thinking about your plot points and those beats, you have to go back to your character and get to know them so well. And I think from there, ideas bubble up to the surface, because you start to create situations where they are backed into the corner and they have to make a choice. And that's what gets a reader rooting for them. Are they going to be able to do it or not?
Oh, good. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that. Like, literally, as you were speaking, on my brain was turning. I'm like, yes, that was it. That's the problem. Perfect.
Yeah. That was like
I'm also a plotter, so that helps. Yeah.
It was like a 2-minute masterclass. Like, I was definitely taking notes. But I see our time has like somehow evaporated into nothing. I want to ask yes, we've got 3.5 minutes. But I really want to ask you a favorite question, which is, looking back, is there something you wish you could tell a younger version of yourself before you set out on this journey?
Yes. I am a big softie, and I'm a people pleaser. I have a hard time saying no. I care deeply about what other people think. And if I could go back, I would say there's going to be a lot of opinions on this journey, and they're going to be thrown at you. They're going to be yelled at you. They're going to be told sternly to you sometimes without your consent, and learn quickly whose opinion you really care about. And the first one should be yours. And it should be people that you trust, who root for you, who know your heart, who know what you're trying to do and the stories you want to tell, and listen to them and put aside everybody else. That's what I would say.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much. And I was thinking about it when you're talking about Zoraida, because that's the thing I trust now. You can feel it. Hey, people who are really cheering for you. They don't have to try and pretend, because it's real, and it feels like they want you to succeed. And that's what I love now. When I'm unsure about everything else, I follow the people who are like cheering for me in the little big ways. I love that so much.
I mean, I think I'm still learning that lesson. I'm still trying to live out that lesson. I'm a big softie. Sometimes I've worried that I'm too soft for this job, but whenever I start talking like that, it's because I've let other voices get too close.
Yes. And the world needs the sensitive ones the most, like that's the thing that I try to remind myself, that because you feel everything so intensely, that's why you're able to convey such beautiful, deep messages in your words.
Yeah. Well, I certainly try, and none of them are perfect, but I certainly try.
Oh, I just love you. And I hope you protect your soft, perfect little heart for all time. You truly, honestly,
I hope we all do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Part, but truly, you are so wise, and it was an honor to have you on. The time really did fly. Like truly, thank you for joining us and for your words, for putting your words out in the world. You are a blessing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for thinking of me. I really do appreciate it. I'm so excited for you.
I'm excited for you. I'm always excited for you. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, it's going to cut us off any second, but yeah, it was really an honor. Thank you for sharing your heart with us, and we're cheering for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.